Hello everyone, welcome to the lecture on axillary artery. So we will dive right into it without further ado. So if you haven't watched the introduction of this, please go and watch it before starting. So the axillary artery is the main artery of the upper limb, alright? So this axillary artery is actually a continuation of the subclavian artery. So at the outer border of the first strip, the subclavian artery will continue down as the axillary artery. And at the lower border of the teres major muscle, alright, it will become the brachial artery. And at the neck of the radius, the brachial artery will divide into the radial and ulnar arteries. So this is the framework that you have to remember. Now the pectoralis minor muscle will divide the axillary artery into three parts. That is what is marked as 1, 2 and 3 here. And we'll see all those parts and the branches which come from these parts later on. So here you can see in this picture, you can see the muscles are marked. I want you to notice the teres major muscle because I told you the axillary artery will become the brachial artery at the lower border of the teres major muscle. So this is the lower border of the teres major muscle and below which the axillary artery will become the brachial artery. So the pectoralis minor muscle. So this is the pectoralis minor. It is dividing the axillary artery into three parts. So the three parts, the first part is superior or proximal to the pectoralis minor. The second part is deep to it and third part is inferior to it. Now let us discuss the relations of the axillary artery. So the relations of the axillary artery, we have the axillary vein which lies medial to it along the entire course. And then we have the cords of the brachial plexus and its relation is variable. So let us see the relations of the first part. So the first part, anteriorly, we have the pectoralis major muscle, the clavicular part of the pectoralis major. And then there is a loop of communication between the lateral pectoral nerve and the medial pectoral nerve. Posteriorly, we have the medial cord of the brachial plexus, long thoracic nerve which supplies the serratus anterior and the first digitation of the serratus anterior muscle. Medially, I told you axillary vein is medial throughout the entire course of the axillary artery. And laterally, the lateral and the posterior cords of the brachial plexus lie lateral to the first part. So, the second part. Now, in the second part, anterior to the second part of the axillary artery is the pectoralis minor muscle. I told you it is deep to the pectoralis minor. Posterior cord is posterior, lateral cord is lateral, medial cord is medial. So the cords of the brachial plexus are termed in relation to the second part of the axillary artery. Now the third part. The third part of the axillary artery, see, anteriorly of the medial root of the median nerve. Okay. And posteriorly we have the radial nerve, the axillary nerve and subscapularis in the upper part and teres major in the lower part. These are the relations in the posterior part. Okay. What do we have medially? We have the axillary vein. We have the ulnar nerve and the medial cutaneous nerve of the forearm. Alright. These are the medial relations. And laterally there is the musculocutaneous nerve. So, we've seen the relations of the axillary artery. Now, what are the branches of the axillary artery? So the branches, from the first part there is one branch, from the second part there is two branch, and from the third part there are three branches. So that is how we have it. So we remember it with a mnemonic SALSAP. So S stands for superior thoracic artery, A stands for acromiothoracic or thoracoacromial artery, L stands for long or lateral thoracic artery. Again, S stands for subscapular artery and A stands for anterior circumflex humeral artery and P stands for posterior circumflex humeral artery. So I will just write it down real quick. So we have S, which is the superior thoracic artery. It supplies the pectoralis major, it supplies the pectoralis minor. Acromiothoracic, it splits into 4 branches. Remember it with the mnemonic A, P, C, D. So it is the acromial branch, the pectoral branch, the clavicular and the deltoid branch. Then the lateral thoracic artery, subscapular artery, anterior circumflex, and posterior circumflex humeral arteries. Anterior circumflex and posterior circumflex humeral arteries, they wind around the humerus, hence it is named so. Alright. So these are the branches of the axillary artery. Now we're moving on to scapular anastomosis. So if there is any block in the proximal axillary artery, we don't have to worry about the circulation to the upper limb because of the anastomosis between the subclavian artery and the axillary artery. So the circulation is intact. Now we have the anastomosis over the acromion process. This is a minor anastomosis. We have it over the body of the scapula and we have it at the inferior angle of the scapula. So let us see what branches constitute this anastomosis. So acromion process, I'm marking it with orange, alright. So just see these branches. So first, I see the acromial branch of the thoracoacromial artery. Okay, so this is from the second part of the axillary artery. So this branch will contribute to the anastomosis, and then we have the suprascapular artery, and then we have the posterior circumflex humeral artery, a branch from that. Alright, so this will constitute the anastomosis over the acromion process. Now, over the body of the scapula, what are the branches? We have the circumflex scapular artery. This is a branch of the subscapular artery. We have the suprascapular artery again. And we have the deep branch of the transverse cervical artery. So we have the suprascapular artery, circumflex scapular artery, and the deep branch of the transverse cervical artery. And now at the inferior angle, marking it with yellow. So again, we have the deep branch of the transverse cervical artery and the subscapular artery, which is from the third part of the axillary artery. So these are the branches which constitute the scapular anastomosis. Should be pretty simple to remember. See, I want you to draw these diagrams and learn so that it stays in your memory. So just to revise, on the acromion process, we have the branches of the acromial branch of the thoracoacromial artery. We have the suprascapular artery and the posterior circumflex humeral artery. On the body of the scapula, we have the suprascapular artery. See, it is from the thyrocervical trunk. So suprascapular artery is there. Then the circumflex scapular and the deep branch of the transverse cervical artery. And at the inferior angle, it is again the deep branch of the transverse cervical artery and the subscapular artery. So that is about the scapular anastomosis. So with this, we're winding up our topic on axillary artery. I hope you've gained lots of information from this video. So if you have, don't forget to subscribe. So thank you and stay tuned.